With the Pokemon Champions era of VGC right around the corner, Megas will be back. In Pokemon Legends ZA, we got so many new Megas to use. Today, I'm going to be talking about the new Megas, and I'm going to be ranking them in a tier list for how viable they will be in VGC. So let's jump the heck in. Today, I'm going to be tier list ranking the Megas from Pokemon Legends ZA. I did a video already kind of talking about these Megas' viability in VGC, but that video was an hour and 18 minutes long. I am going to do my best. Watch me. This video is going to be a tight 45. Because I've had some time to really think about it and really metabolize their stats, because their stats have been revealed. So really metabolize their stats. I've been able to think a little bit more, talk with other people about maybe what their abilities might be. We don't have their abilities yet, but I do think there is quite a bit of information we can glean from their stats, as well as their typing, as well as their possible move pool. So I really just kind of want to use this as an opportunity to really be a little bit more succinct with my thoughts, as well as, how do I say this? As well as, like, the other video was kind of nebulously talking about if I think that they will be viable. But this is definitely a little bit more stringent. Like, I am putting them, in a tier. So, without further ado, let's hop in. We got Mega Clefable first. I'm gonna tell you something. I think I may, in fact, be kind of a Clefable believer, believe it or not. So we do have Mega Clefable here. Mega Clefable does gain that flying typing. I think Mega Clefable could absolutely be an Aerialite user. Pokemon does love to give a good Aerialite out to a Mega. And we do see Mega Clefable has a pretty staggering special attack stat in that 135. Additionally, decent bulk and 93 defense, 110 Spadef, 95 HP. Like a very awkward middling speed in that 70. However, you know, if you want to run a Calm Mind set on the Clefable, you could run Calm Mind, Moonblast, Protect, Hyper Voice, having big stab, like maybe flying type damage on the Hyper Voice, being able to hit something like a Rillaboom or like an Amoonguss, super effective, all that kind of stuff. Spread damage, you have your spread damage, so you can get around Follow Me. You have your single target damage, so you can get around Wide Guard or anything like that. So I don't know. I kind of think Clefable is going to be usable. Do I think it's S tier? No, I don't think it's S tier. But I'm gonna put Clefable in B. And like these are just some of my reactions, but at the end we might go through and kind of like not replace, but replace. Yes, some of them. So next up we do have the Mega Victory Bell. Okay. So Mega Victory Bell is a bit of an awkward one, right? Like, I do think Grass Poison's a little bit of an awkward defensive typing. Like, you know, we're weak to fire, weak to ice, weak to flying, weak to psychic. So, like, definitely a little bit of an awkward defensive typing. However, I do think that, like, Grass is a pretty decent offensive typing, just because we know that Terra, we've seen it, we know that Terra is going to exist in Champions, and we see how good and popular being Terra Water is. Like, just bulky water types have always existed, have always been good in VGC, and now that you can Terra anything into just, oops, being a bulky water type or being a water type. So I do think, like, the Grass, like, does definitely have some use there. However, the stat distribution is awkward as heck. Are you gonna work? There we go. The stat distribution is kind of awkward as heck. Like, so you have 135 and 125, and I think, like, I personally like to look at, instead of looking at how do I say this? Instead of looking at how bad a Pokemon is, I personally, when I look at something new, when we get new toys to play with, new Pokemon to play with, my brain goes to, how can I make this viable, right? So, I'm gonna kind of be looking, does that mean I'm kind of looking on the bright side? I don't really know, but yes, the stat distributions are a little bit awkward. It has that same kind of middling awkward speed in that 70. But I will say, like, you could run a mixed attacker, closed team sheet, you know. I assume we will still have open team sheet for regionals and everything like that in Champions, because that was added when we got open team sheet was added when we got Terra. As I said, Terra does still exist in Champions, but truly who knows. But that would just be my guess. However, you know, we still have grand challenges. Like, you play in grand challenges, maybe you play on ladder or something like that, ladder warrior, you play a lot of closed team sheet, like, oops, am I a physical attacker, am I a special attacker? You know, it's awkward, but there could be some value there. There definitely could be some value there. And honestly, so I've definitely heard people talk about chlorophyll. I've definitely heard people talk about chlorophyll for Mega Victory Bell. However, I kind of think that Mega Victory Bell might get its own kind of ability. Like, we got some lore about how it can, like, maybe poison steel type, so maybe we're gonna get something where Mega Victory Bell, like I said, there will be no immunity to the poison type damage, and if you can throw out some big poison type damage, maybe get a, like, you know, a sludge bomb or something, maybe get a little poison, like, oh, okay, maybe that's usable. C is probably too high. This is probably D tier. This is probably D tier, to be honest. Still probably D tier, but I can find the good in it. I promise you I can find the good in it. Okay, I am excited to talk about Starmie. I'm excited to talk about Mega Starmie. So in my other video that I did talk about their designs a little bit more. Like, I talked about the Mega, like, as a whole. I won't be talking about the designs as much in this video, but I do want to say this is goofy. This is so goofy. I kind of like it. I'm not always a fan of the really goofy Mega designs, but I don't know, in the game, when, like, Starmies were running at you, I don't know, they kind of got me. They kind of got me with that one, okay? So it keeps the same typing, Water Psychic, and, okay, so this, a lot of people, so people in my stream have said this to me, people in my last video, in the comments said this to me, so thank you, and shout out to all of y'all. I really do appreciate it. So kind of what they did with Starmie is, like, very, in the stat distribution, is very similar to how they treated Mawile and Mega Mawile, and Mega Mawile has huge power, and so I think, like, a lot of people are guessing that Mega Starmie will have huge power as well, and it's like, that's kind of nutty. That's kind of nutty, but it's, like, a little bit awkward, because once again, we have an interesting distribution of special attack being 130, physical attack being 140, and, like, here's the thing about, I mean, look, Starmie's gonna do insane damage, right? Starmie's gonna do absolutely insane damage, additionally, very fast. But here's the thing about Starmie being a physical attacker. Lots of Starmie's coverage moves are special, right? Like Thunderbolt, like Flash Cannon, like Dazzling Gleam, like Ice Beam, like Icy Wind, all that kind of stuff. Power Gem even, and, you know, Psyshock and Psychic, like, a lot of these good coverage, and even stab moves, are special moves, right? That doesn't mean there's not, like, there are good physical water moves, you know, we have, Liquidation, and, like, Liquidation, and everything like that, but it just, like, it does feel lackluster. Additionally, if your big move is Zen Headbutt, I don't particularly like being forced into my only big stab physical move is not 100% accurate. It just feels bad. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it does just feel a little bit bad. Hold on, let me see. Do we think Starmie is going to flip turn? No, wait, hold on, flip turn kind of cooking. Being fast, being able to get a fast pivot, like, pivoting is so important in VGC. Being able to get a fast pivot, like, okay, hold on. Are we cooking? Are we in fact cooking with that? Interesting. Okay. Oh, and there's also Jet? Nah, and we have priority in the Jet? Nah, okay, okay. Okay. Probably B. But, like, I will say, having access to Jet is, like, a really, really big deal. I think having priority moves is a very big deal. Especially, like, stab, powerful priority moves. Not like, quick attack, you know. I'm maybe will move that up at some point. I will maybe move that up at some point. For now, I'm gonna keep this as B, though. Okay, next up we do have the... Where are you? Nope. Oh my gosh, I forgot to get him! Okay, sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I thought I set up all of these pages beforehand, but I did, unfortunately, forget Mega Dragonite. I really like Mega Dragonite's design. 1, 2, I think Mega Dragonite's shiny is beautiful. The blue with the purple looks so good. It's truly what I've wanted for that shiny, like, forever, probably. So, this is another Pokemon I could see getting Aerolite. I don't know what this Pokemon's ability is going to be, but like I said, Pokemon does love to give out a little Aerolite, you know? So, here, this is another, like, kind of interesting. We have a big attack stat 124, and then we have a huge special attack stat in 145. So I could definitely see, like, again, it is awkward, it is an awkward distribution, but, you know, we back in other Mega formats, we would definitely see something maybe like a mixed Salamence Mega. So I think, like, we could very easily see Dragonite, like, run with special moves and then just E-Speed. That way you can do lots of damage with your special moves, but then if your opponent lives on Focus Sash or lives with just a little bit of HP, you know you have a clean way to be able to pick that Pokemon off next turn, you know? Because there are, like, honestly, Dragonite, I mean, both physical and special, Dragonite gets pretty lit coverage moves, like, very, very good coverage moves. Because, you know, we got Flamethrower, we got Thunderbolt, we got Heat Wave, we have Surf even, Dragon Pulse, Hydro Pump, what did I see up here? Ice Beam. Yeah, so it's like, you get so many good Hyper Beam. You know there will be a Hyper Beam. Blizzard, Focus Blast, like, this Pokemon gets so many good special moves that I think it can absolutely use the special attack stat. Additionally, 115 defense, 125 SPDEF, and 91 HP. Extremely decent bulk. Extremely decent bulk. This is gonna be our first A? Yes, it is. Dragonite! Dragonite just boop flew themselves right into S tier, but no. I'm gonna put Dragonite in A tier. I just think it has a lot of great tools. Bulky, but also can hit back really hard. Can also set Tailwind. And at least, and I'm kind of using past Mega formats to, like, inform some of my decisions. Mega Salamence was very, very popular with Tailwind, so it's not odd to have one of your Megas also be a support in that way that it would set your speed control. Mega Meganium's next! Yay! Okay, so Meganium, my first starter ever when I started playing Pokémon back in Heart Gold. Of course, I played through my Legends ZA with my Chikorita, with my Bayleaf, with my Meganium, with my Mega Meganium. Very, very... if you couldn't tell, I'm very happy. I am very happy that this Pokemon got a Mega. While I do think the Mega design, I am growing to appreciate it more, but while I do think it leaves me wanting a little bit. They kind of just said more flower. They said one flower? Nah, turtleneck flower. You know, I like the little bell bottoms. Bell bottoms are cute. I really like the antenna with the little doodly-hoo. That's cute. Anyway, we're not here to... I just get distracted by Mega Meganium, but we're not here to talk about that. So, Mega Meganium did gain that fairy typing. At least as of Legends ZA, Meganium does not get Moonblast. Meganium does get Dazzling Gleam, though, which is, like, still good, but the power difference does matter. If you are wondering, the power difference definitely does matter. That's not to say Meganium will not get Moonblast in the future, but I do want to note right now it does not get Moonblast. But honestly... Oh, sorry, but I do want to say Meganium did get Earth Power. Meganium did get that big EP, no more getting stalled out by fire types, no more getting fully stalled out by steel types either, so that is also a huge buff. Meganium did get, does have a huge Mega Meganium, rather, I'm sorry, does have a massive 143 special attack stat, like, decent HP, too much attack, but that's fine. Defense, good SpDef, both sitting at a pretty decent 115 and an 80 speed. So, like, the speed's a little bit less awkward than 70, still kind of awkward, but a little bit less awkward, I guess. I absolutely think this Pokemon will be usable. I think Fairy typing, like, Fairy type's a really good offensive typing as well. I feel pretty happy putting Meganium in B. I might have to reorder this at some point, but I feel pretty happy putting Meganium in B for now. Okay, next we have Feraligatr. I feel like people really dislike this design. I have been seeing people talk about how they really dislike this design. I kind of like it. I gotta be honest, I kind of like it. I feel a little similar to how I feel with Meganium. It feels maybe a touch... Is the word uninspired too strong? You can let me know in the comments if me saying it's a little bit uninspired is a little bit too strong. But I do think it could be a little bit uninspired. But look at this monster. Look at this absolute monster attack stat. I think especially if Feraligatr keeps, like, Sheer Force. Yeah, this Pokemon's scary. Yeah, if you're keeping Sheer Force, this Pokemon is scary. Huge attack stat. Huge defense stat. So this could definitely be a situation where if the meta is trending fairly physical, then having your Mega be a huge physical wall and can also pump out damage, and like 93 SpDef, could it use a little bit? Yeah, but like it's not horrible. So really having it just be a physical wall and being able to pump out nasty amounts of damage is pretty nice. You know, you also getting Breaking Swipe, meaning you have a stab, because it did gain the dragon typing, you have a stab, dragon, spread move that can also lower your opponent's attack, making your physical defense, like, just seem better and better by the minute, right? You have Outrage, you have Liquidation, I think you have Dig, yeah, you do have Earthquake, you have Bulldoze for more speed control, Waterfall, like, I really do think this Pokemon absolutely has potential. 100% has potential. I was actually looking, okay, I do see Swords Dance. You at least used to have Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw as well. I used to have Dragon Dance, Ice Fang, which is really nice, like Rock Slide if you wanted, if you feel like you need to run the rock coverage, but just having access to it is kind of huge. I feel very comfortable putting you in B, like maybe A. It just really depends if you're Sheer Force. It really, really depends if you're Sheer Force. Sorry, I do want to see... Yeah, because here's the thing. Water Dragon is such a good defensive typing. You literally have two weaknesses. You are only weak to Dragon, you are only weak to Fairy. Like, that is incredible. That is, to have those two weaknesses, and you're like 4 times weak to Freeze Dry, but that's very specific. That is very specific. I might, just for how good the defensive typing is, I might have to put it in A. I'll rethink it, but that is such a good defensive typing, and like, decent bulk, and decent physical, like, better than decent, like, good physical coverage moves, yeah. Okay, let me see, how long have I been? Oh my gosh, we have so many to go, I gotta pick up the pace! Okay, Skarmory is next. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest about Skarmory. So, Skarmory is one of those Pokemon, and especially one of those Megas, right? You have a huge attack stat, but you actually lose, like, a lot of your defense, right? And that's kind of like, so, Skarmory, at least from when I have played VGC, has never really been big in VGC. I know is kind of big in some singles metas. My understanding is because of this. Literally your monster defense, and then you can also set up hazards. I think. But here's, like, the truth is, I guess it really depends on what your ability is, right? I guess it really depends on what your ability is. I hope it's none of those, because that doesn't really serve Mega Skarmory here. Because here's the thing, Steel Flying is not a bad typing at all. Like, we have seen, both in Scarlet and Violet and in Sword and Shield meta, we have seen Corviknight. We have seen Corviknight do well in VGC and definitely have a place in the meta, and it's literally the exact same typing as the Skarmory. However, it does get things like Bulk Up, and it has, Oh, the exact name of the ability is escaping me right now, but where it reflects the Intimidate. Like, it can't be intimidated, because it reflects the Intimidate back on the Intimidator. So, I think just, like, having access to that, if Skarmory can have an ability where maybe it doesn't get intimidated, so it can't just be, like, Intimidate cycled. Because here's the thing to remember about, Megas, right? That is your item. You can't run Clear Amulet Mega Skarmory. That doesn't exist. You have to run the Mega Stone, and I'm talking about specifically Mega Skarmory right now, right? So, I just, like, don't think... Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm actually gonna put Skarmory in D tier. Is this, like, too far? Nothing in C tier? Is this C tier? Is this C tier? Am I, like, super wrong here? Maybe I'll just move everything from D tier to C tier at the end of this video and just be like, there's nothing D tier. Because I just think... Yeah, I just think it's gonna be rough to use Skarmory, right? I don't know. Like, fast, good defenses, good attack, really, really lackluster HP. Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe you are C. Yeah, like, good defenses. Okay. Good defenses, maybe if you have a good ability. Crazy attack stat. But, like, let me see. Yeah, we got okay, you do have Iron Defense. Do you get, Body Press? No. But you could get Body Press. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Iron Head, that's, like, pretty good, but there's, like, not really any coverage moves. Taunt is kind of nice, though. Okay, Rock Slide. Wait a second. Fast Rock Slide? Fast Rock Slide, really good for getting those flinches, being able to get those flinches. Okay, just from base stats, I'm gonna put Skarmory in C. Okay, next we have Frostlass. I love this design. This, to me, is inspired design. Absolutely inspired design. Love the horns, like, love... I know it's Frostlass, but it doesn't feel like... It doesn't feel lazy at all. Like, I just really like this design. Ice Ghost type, keeps the same typing. I'm really curious as to what the ability is gonna be. If the ability is something like Snowboarding, like, if you let Skarmory set the weather, I think that could be huge, because that would work similarly to how the weather setter works when it's Mega Charizard Y, right? Like, and what I mean by that is your opponent can't switch in that turn to change the weather, if that makes sense. Because how the order works is, like, let's say you have your Charizard, and then they swap into Pelipper. So you have your Charizard, not Mega'd, they have no weather on their board. They swap into their Pelipper that turn, then you Mega Evolve, setting the Sun that turn, but they've already swapped in. So it's like, it can be very, very awkward for your opponent to try to take away the weather and have to call it correctly for when you Mega. So I actually just think that adds, like, something fun. I just honestly think that adds something fun to Megas that can set weather. Yeah, really lackluster HP, lackluster defense, huge special attack, nasty, nasty, nasty stuff, huge speed, and, like, decent spadef. So if you can set your own weather, and then you just get to click in Blizzard, like, that is kind of nasty. That could definitely be nasty. Yeah, okay, good, you get, I'm like, good, you get Blizzard, okay. Yeah, and you get some other coverage moves, but I would assume, you know, you'd probably want to run your, like, Shadow Ball, you'd probably run Blizzard or Ice Beam, maybe Icy Wind, but you do have access to the Thunderbolt, you do have access to, where are you? I just saw, like, Psychic if you really need to, but I think a lot of the time, if you can get your weather up, like, you want to be clicking those huge blizzards. But, you know, fast Blizzard can get freezes, steal some turns from your opponent that way. To me, Frostlass, it's really going to come down to the ability. It's really, really, really going to come down to the ability. I'm going to put Frostlass in C tier, though. And I think if it gets an ability that where it sets the weather, yeah, that could be huge. That could be huge. Ooh, okay, next we got Emboar! Okay, Emboar's one of those Pokemon. I actually love this Mega design. I really do absolutely adore this Mega design. And I do think, like... Okay, here's the thing about Emboar, though. Hold on. How fast... Yeah, 65. 75. It's a little bit actually kind of awkward that they gave this Pokemon speed. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It feels a little awkward to me. Cause like 75 is a little bit fast for Trick Room, but I guess it depends on like how fast the meta is going to be. But I really think like Emboar could be a kind of cool Trick Room sweeper or cool Trick Room Pokemon. Maybe like with a 75 speed, maybe a Tail Room team could really let Emboar thrive. Emboar stays that firefighting type. A little bit of an awkward defensive typing. Not horrible. You're weak to water, ground, flying, psychic. Like, that's not bad. You have a good amount of resistances, though, as well, which is lovely. And I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Emboar keeps Reckless. That could be kind of cool. Like, you're going to be doing huge damage with, like, maybe a Head Smash or a Blitz or a CC or something like that. I could definitely see that. But I think, do you also get... That's not what I'm looking for. Like, also get Brick Break, Rock Slide. Like, you have a lot of good... Oh, Bulk Up. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, if you can pick your time right... You also get access to Knockoff, which is huge. If you can pick your time right and start clicking some bulk ups, and then click things, and then be able to click things like, hold on, do you have, that's not what I wanted to say. Like, if you were to get Drain Punch, that would be huge. It doesn't look like here there is Drain Punch, but if you were to get Drain Punch, that would be kind of huge. But you have, like, Zen Headbutt, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Poison Jab, even Wild Charge, like, such good coverage moves. Such good coverage moves here, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think, like, 110 HP, 75 defense is a little bit lackluster, but especially if you can click something like a Bulk Up to kind of fix that, and then really decent Spadef, and then a huge 148 attack stat is pretty massive. Absolutely pretty massive there. I can't decide if I think you'd be B, though. Or C. I honestly can't decide. I do think Emboar is C. I feel like I didn't tier these quite right. I feel like maybe it should be this. Because I do feel like these two are a step below. I do feel like these two are actually a step below. But maybe it's actually just you. Maybe it's actually just you. It's that. No, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Okay, we got Mega Drill! Okay. If you watch my first video... I don't love this design. They just made it more drill. But, like, exponentially. They were like, Excadrill? Let's just make it so much more drill. It is a drill. I'm sorry. I love Excadrill. I actually really, really like that Pokemon. I loved using sand, both in Sword and Shield, and I've used sand a bit in Scarlet and Violet. I really like this Pokemon. I just don't like this design. This design isn't it, but these stats kind of are it. These stats kind of are it. That transition, though. So, I will say, big HP, 110, huge. Boasting a absolutely massive 165 attack stat is pretty big. Defense, reasonable. Spadef, don't look at it. Look away! Look away! And then 103 speed, which is huge because you get to outspeed those 100 base speed Pokemon. There are a lot of them. One of them being Garchomp, which could easily... It is similar to Excadrill. They do the same thing, right? But making Mega Excadrill outpace Garchomp is a really big deal. I'm kind of interested about the ability. I'm really hoping it's Sand Rush. Or not hoping. I would be okay if this Pokemon kept Sand Rush. Like, Excadrill, Tyranitar Excadrill, I think, with Mega Exca and, like, Flying type, Flying Terra, Tyranitar, you can click huge Earthquakes, and then Tyranitar can click super effective Terra Blast on grass types. Like, I do think that is cooking. I think this Pokemon is quite good. I really, really do think this Pokemon is quite good. I'm very curious about the ability we see. Getting Xers is kind of interesting, but yeah, you know, it's like Rock Slide, you get Rock Slide, you get, Earthquake, Iron Head, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think, like, this Pokemon is going to be absolutely usable. I'm kind of curious to see if it's really run one way, or if people find different ways to run it. I'm gonna put Exca in, oh, sorry. I'm gonna put Exca in A tier. That's the second time! I'm really not putting Exca in S tier. I'm actually curious if I'm gonna have an S tier. I might move, once I'm finished, I might move some things to S tier, but for now, I'm putting Exca in A tier. Okay, Scolipede, where are you? You're up here. Cool design. Scolipede, I think, no getting around it, has a really cool design. I love this part of the exoskeleton, I love the tail stinger, I love the head stinger. I don't love this chest piece, but, you know, it is what it is. Keeping that bug poison type, again, bug typing is neither particularly good defensively or particularly good offensively, which is unfortunate. Talked about this in my last video a little bit, but I would love to see bug type get a buff. You know how we have dark types are immune to prankster, like they could do something similar to bug type if they wanted, or they could make bug type resist fairy and be super effective against fairy. Like, nothing too insane to me, but just a little something for those bug types, you know? Okay, Mega Scolipede. Definitely, like, these stats leave you wanting a little bit, right? Huge attack stat, 140. Huge defense stat, like, a defensive wall. And again, if the meta is trending more defensive, that's great for Mega Scolipede, because you can just wall them out, and then you maybe on your team you would also have a Light Screen user, you would also have a Snarl user, or a Follow Me user, something like that, to really help deal with those special attackers. But like, Spadef at 99, it could be worse, because it could be 60. But really, having 60 HP is such a detriment to this Pokemon, like, and like I said, just not the best defensive typing in that bug poison as well. But you know, you can use, what am I looking for? I really want you, not U-turn. U-turn's a cool move. U-turn's a cool move, but I think, like, so I don't see it here, but if Scolipede could get something, if Mega Scolipede could get something like Leech Life, getting health back is a very big deal. But like Poison Jab, Leech Life, like Pin Missiles, kind of cool. Mega Horn, you know, you do have Rock Tomb, which is also kind of interesting. But overall, I'm not seeing like, I mean, okay, EQ is a good coverage move. EQ is a really, really good coverage move. So that way you're not like completely stalled out by like fire types and by steel types and everything, but it's like a little bit yikes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put you, are you actually C? Like, I also think, you know, if Mega Scolipede as a physical attacker could get a ability, I'm gonna say this a lot for the physical attackers, if Mega Scolipede could get an ability that would, you know, Scrappy, or more likely Inner Focus, that would make it so can't be faked out and can't be like Inner Focus can't be faked out because you can't be flinched and can't be intimidated. That's a huge deal. That is a huge deal for a physical attacker. Not being able to slow that Pokemon down with Intimidate is huge. So like, if there's an ability like that, I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm gonna be hopeful, and I'm gonna put Mega Scolipede in C here. Okay, we got Mega Scrafty. Where are you? I think Mega Scrafty has a really cool design, to be honest. Okay, so Scrafty's another one of those Pokemon, right? Regular Scrafty does have Intimidate. Can you see? Yeah. Does have Intimidate. Intimidate, if you play VGC, you probably know Intimidate is an amazing ability. There's a reason Incineroar is so good. Intimidate is such a good ability. You are able to weaken your opponent's physical attackers without clicking a move, without doing anything, simply by entering the battlefield. You are able to do that. And so, but like I said, Scrafty could be one of those examples, right? Scrafty has a really, Intimidate's very good. Scrafty has access to Intimidate, access to Fake Out, similar to Incineroar. So you could use your Scrafty, you could swap in for your Intimidate, but then you could Mega Evolve, and like, if Scrafty gets Scrappy, because Scrappy did get buffed, you can no longer be intimidated. So if Scrafty could get Scrappy, when you, not only do you bring the Intimidate in with you, but then you Mega Evolve, right? You Mega Evolve, you get the Scrappy ability, so you can't be intimidated, and you can hit ghost types with your big stab fighting damage. Like, that's huge. I think that is a very, very big deal. And so, like, if there is an ability like that, big attack stat, big defense, huge Spadef, like, really, really coming through. The defenses are coming through. Scrafty gets wildly let down by the 65 HP, but it's slow, which is nice, can definitely be used in Trick Room. Could 100% be used in Trick Room. Like, again, if Scrafty gets an ability like that, I think we could even see it be in B. We can absolutely see it be in B, but I think I'm gonna put Scrafty in C for now. I'm gonna put Mega Scrafty in C. Okay, we got the unit! We got the unit! Mega Electros! When I first saw this Mega, I was like, what is that? What is that? Okay. Okay. So, here, we have Mega Electros, right? Pure electric typing. Electros has Levitate, right? So, as an electric type, you only have one weakness. As a pure electric type, you only have one weakness. It is ground. So, if Mega Electros keeps that immunity, keeps that ground immunity, like, I think you maybe have to have it have Levitate. I don't know. Its stats are like, what is that? This is so sad. Yeah, its stats are like, what is that? So, look, here's the thing. 145 attack, 135 special attack. Like, electric moves, these special electric moves are just so much better. Thunder, Thunderbolt, Parabolic Charge, Discharge, Volt Switch. Like, pivoting is huge in VGC. Volt Switch is a huge deal. Electro Web, being able to hit both your opponent's Pokemon and lower their speed. And then for physical, like, what are we doing? Clicking Wild Charge? Like, it just is unfortunate. It just is unfortunate. Sure, you can click Liquidation. No one can take that from you. No one can take that from you. You can click Close Combat and Liquidation and, like, Sun Headbutt, but it just feels like, it makes me sad. Like, this stat distribution makes me sad. Like, it is a waste, but even if these were flipped. Even if attack and special attack were flipped, like, I think, unfortunately, it just, like, make me sad. It just make me sad, but the unit has to go in D. I think, I actually do think, I'm so torn. You're at least the best D-rated Pokemon. You are at least the best, Skarmory's at least the best D-rated Pokemon, but oh my gosh, I've been recording for 39 minutes. But some of it was like the intro and stuff like that, and it's fine. We're gonna get there. But there's always time for a hydration break. Okay. Next, we got Shandy. Next, we do have Mega Chandelure. Cool design. They were just like Chandelure, but what if it was huge? I'm really hoping Mega Chandelure and Champions get some really cool static animation. Not static. That doesn't even make sense. Passive animation of, like, the different Chandelure, like, of the flames, and then, like, maybe the different Chandelure types. Okay. Yikes. That's huge. 175 special attack stat? Shandy ain't messin'. Yes, HP lets it down. Got it. Defense, good, 110. Spadef, good, 110. Speed, 90. Actually good. Not a weird 70 or 80 middling speed, but actually 90. Okay. Yeah, like, Chandelure, I really hope it gets something better than Flash Fire, but Chandelure could be one of those Pokemon, right? You predict your opponent to go for a fire-type move, you can swap in your Chandelure, you get your Flash Fire boost, then you Mega. And then you're doing even more damage with your massive 175 attack stat. I'm a little bit of a Chandelure believer. I see this and I'm like, yeah, I'm there. I'm a little bit more, I'm a bit of a Chandelure believer. Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, like, Overheat, yikes, Heat Wave, that's doing so much damage. But you do have, like, a spicy little Energy Ball coverage, you know, Psychic coverage if you need it. But, yeah, so I'm kind of a believer. Like, I do think Chandelure, could be very annoying to go up against, maybe on, like, a hyper offense team, you know? Like, if you could pair it with, like, an Illumise, perhaps, with fake tears, or a Whimsicott with fake tears, or anything like that. Like, I think that could be a little bit annoying to deal with. They also pair it with Tailwind, so you're just going for, like, these huge attacks. And you get to say to your opponent, deal with it. Simply deal with it. Also, the Whimsicott could Sunny Day for you, like... Is it crazy of me to put it in A? I feel like it's not A. But I feel like it's also... maybe here. I'm not actually ordering them in the tier. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not actually ordering them in the tier. I'm just being a little bit picky. I'm just being a little bit picky. Okay, chat. If there's one thing I want you to know about me, is that I'm a Mega Chestnut believer. I love this design. 1, killed it with that design. Yes, 10 out of 10. 2, you know I think Iron Defense Body Press is broken. Because, like, here's the thing about Iron Defense Body Press. I know I've said it before. If you've been around my channel, I'm so sorry that you have to hear this for the maybe billionth time. But Iron Defense, it bolsters your defense. Yes, we get it. So you are taking less damage. But with Body Press, it also increases your offense, your damage output. Additionally, there's no Intimidate for defense. Like, who cares if your opponent Intimidate spams you? You don't, because Intimidate doesn't affect the damage you do by Body Press. Even if they parting shot, you don't give a flying heck, because you're relying on your defense. Like, I just think it's so good. Y'all know. I just think it's so good. So I think, like, having the possibility of having access to that is just, like, such a huge deal. We also, like, Chestnut's also, we've been seeing Chestnut in Reg H, like, a Belly Drum Grassy Glide set, Drain Punch even, like, I don't know, I just think this Pokemon is it. Like, I believe in this Pokemon. I will say, yeah, Grass Fighting is a rough defensive typing. Yes, you're weak to fire, you're weak to ice, you're weak to poison, you're weak to 4 times weak to flying, and Mega Salamence is out here very much existing. You're weak to Psychic, and you're weak to Fairy. However, we do know that Terra exists. Like, I think Iron Defense, Body Press, and Leech Seed, like, can do something. Can absolutely do something here. I'm a huge believer. Like, I am literally putting this in A tier. I know, it might be Cope, I know, but I'm gonna put it in A tier. And here, look, I feel like I can hear some of y'all thinking, or hear some of y'all saying, like, do you really want to use your Mega for a more defensive position, right? Well, here's the thing. Where are you, Chestnut? You come onto the battlefield with 172 defense. Like, you come onto the battlefield with huge defense, so you can already pump out damage that way. But I think a lot, so I'm gonna kind of liken, like, a Mega format to maybe something similar to Regulation, what would it have been, G, which is a single restricted format we had in Scarlet and Violet. I think a lot of people at the beginning of the format kind of thought, okay, you know, Zamazenta will be okay, but you don't really want to use your Mega for super defensive purposes like that. And then what did we see? Immediately, Zamazenta, I believe it was Michael Kelsch, went on to win a regional with Zamazenta, and then Zamazenta was super prevalent has been super prevalent ever since. So I think maybe it is a false equivalency, but I think a similar argument could be made for something like a Mega Chestnut. I'm a believer, okay? Okay, I'm a believer. I'm talking up Mega Chestnut. Okay, now we have another Mega that I am very excited for, and I think it's going to be, at least comparatively, quite good, and that is Delphox, right? This is Delphox, and I think similarly to how we've seen Chestnut be in the conversation in Regulation H and VGC, we are also very much seeing Delphox be in the conversation as well. Like, fast Psy Spam will find a way. And I think having the fire typing, it feels so good for Delphox because, you know, what is what is a very common type that resists psychic? It is that steel type. So being able to hit the steel type super effective with massive fire damage is huge. I think like Expanding Force is just such a good freaking move. Now you are clicking Expanding Force with 159 special attack stat. That's gross. That is so freaking gross. You have a decent better than decent. You have a good Spadef, you have a very good speed stat as well, being able to outpace every mega that we've looked at so far, but presumably being able to outpace a good amount of the meta as well. Obviously, the HP and the defense, like, very much let it down. But, you know, and similarly to how I was saying with some other megas, if it's a particularly specially favoring meta, then having a big Spadef stat like this is a huge deal and is, like, very, very nice. I'm a Delphox believer. I'm absolutely a Delphox believer. You know, you have your big, you have, like, Dazzling Gleam for coverage as well. But yeah, I'm a huge Delphox believer. I'm gonna put... There are definitely some of these Pokemon I think will go in S tier. Like, arguably it's gonna probably look like this. There we go. I am kind of ordering them. Arguably, I think it's gonna kind of look like this. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that yet, but I'll leave it for now. I will leave it for now. Okay. Let's see. Greninja! Cool. Greninja, another... I like Greninja's design. What can you do? I like it. Okay. So Greninja's interesting. Okay. Sorry, I'm just, like, very fast. Greninja's very fast, hitting at 142 speed. I'm also super curious, like, kind of how Protein is going to work in Champions, and if Greninja will keep Protein. Like, are we gonna see something completely different for this Greninja? I'm not sure. They are leaning into the ninja aesthetic, so I feel like we're gonna keep Protein, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so, like, look, similar thing to what I've been saying about a lot of these Pokemon that have good attack and good special attack is, like, you could maybe be annoying in close team sheet. Like, that's real. That's real. You can be annoying in close team sheet. But the truth is, I think you would always probably want to run Greninja, like, well, do you always want to run special? I just feel like Greninja gets such good... Actually, Greninja gets such good coverage moves, physical and special, to be completely honest. We see Waterfall, we see Gunk. Like, I also think U-Turn is quite good, to be completely honest with you. Rock Tomb, because you're so fast, like Rock Tomb and Rock Slide. Rock Tomb to slow down your opponent, Rock Slide to get some flinches. But, like, ultimately, your special attack is better. I know you get good special attack coverage, you know, you have Ice Beam. I think it also depends, like, are we gonna see Scald come back, all that kind of stuff. You get Dark Pulse, and I think, like, because I do think Delphox is going to be so good, I think having Greninja there as a pretty consistent way to check the Delphox, as it is... Where are you? Like, Dark Water, which, like, literally foils Delphox perfect, like, is the foil to Delphox pretty perfectly. It's really awkward stat distribution, to be honest. Let me look at it again. It's really awkward stat distribution. But I think if it can be the foil, if it can be a foil to other popular megas, I think, like, maybe that could do something. I'm a little bit torn. I do think Greninja B. I think Greninja B. Yeah, I think Greninja B. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Greninja B, to be honest. Okay. Sorry, Pyroar. I didn't mean to roll my eyes. I apologize. I did not mean to roll my eyes, Pyroar. That is my bad. I'm mainly rolling my eyes because Pyroar's design is like, why did you do this? Okay. Like, Pyroar's a Pokemon I like. I think Pyroar is a really cool Pokemon. I'm so happy Pyroar got a Mega. I just, like, wish the design and the stats and everything about it was better. I think Pyroar deserved better. That's just me. Okay, look. I mentioned this in my last video. Okay. Without an ability, I think Pyroar is, like, pretty rough. I think Pyroar is pretty rough. But let's think. Let's think. If they give Pyroar a busted heckin' ability like Mind's Eye, okay? If we give this Pokemon Mind's Eye, like, you do get Hyper Voice, right? So you can maybe be a baby, kind of like a baby Blood Moon or something, but then it's like, why would you just not use Blood Moon and then not use one of your Mega Spots? I don't know why you'd do that, okay? But I guess, well, you get Fire coverage. You get Fire coverage too, right? But it's like, you know, if you can hit Ghost types with your big screamy move, you can click your Flamethrower and Heat Wave, like having access to a fast taunt. Having access to fast taunt is not bad at all, like, that could be helpful, but, like, Snarl's nice, but I just think, like, overall, even with a broken ability, not even broken, but even with a really good ability like, Mind's Eye, you know, being able to hit ghost types, being able to go through evasion boosts and everything, like, it still is just lackluster. Like, 129, that is good. 129 is good. Like, if we look at Greninja, you know, we get, like, 133. You know, if we look at Delphox, we get 159. So it's, like, even comparatively, it just feels a little bit lackluster. Like, this Pokemon was like 175, you know, so just like comparatively, it feels lackluster to everything, to be honest. Okay, Malamar. Malamar's a Mega. I actually do love the design. I do love the design because unlike what they did with Pyroar, where they were just like, I guess we'll just give it more hair, pretty much change nothing else, call it a day. I feel like someone worked on this. Like, the rainbow, like, I can tell it's Malamar, but it's super different. They weren't just like, what if we gave Malamar more arms? Yes. Like, no, this is a sick design. This is a sick design, but you wanna know what's not sick? Stat distributions. Awkward. It's just awkward. It's just awkward. It's just awkward. Like, here's the thing. Contrary's cool. Contrary's a cool ability. Contrary's a cool ability. So, like, if... I fear the meta will be too fast for this, but what I'm trying to cook is, like, you click something, you can start clicking something like Close Combat, you can start clicking something like Superpower, and boosting up, and then if Mega Malamar doesn't have Contrary as an ability, then you can go Mega while you're all big boosted, but it's just, like... It's tough. Like, you have a monster Spadef stat. You have a monster Spadef stat. So it's like, I think maybe at best, but it's like, you don't have that much damage output. Because, like, 98 special attack, lackluster, 102 attack, also lackluster. I think you would really, you have to set up. You have to set up. But that means you are using your Mega Spot to set up, you're taking turns to set up, while your opponent is presumably either setting up faster than you, or just pumping out damage. You know, it's like, can you keep up with that damage? I think probably no. I think probably no. I will say, though, Dark Psychic is a very cool defensive typing. You are weak to Fairy, and you're 4 times weak to Bug. But, like, Bug isn't super common, so it's like, you will have to worry about Fairy type, but presumably not the Bug type as much. Like, maybe a Rogue, you know, like, U-Turn's always gonna be decently popular, like a Rogue U-Turn or something like that. But, so, like, I guess I could say that, but it's just like... And, like, Malamar's a Pokemon, like, again, I love this design. I actually do feel like you're probably a little bit better. I do feel like you're probably a little bit better, and I feel like Emboar might be a little bit better. I'm not sure if Emboar's B, to be honest. I'm gonna keep Emboar where it is. I'm gonna keep Emboar where it is. But I do think Skarmory is better than these Pokemon. I actually honestly think that you might be better than these Pokemon too. But I'm still gonna leave you on D. I'm still gonna leave you on D. Okay, wait a minute! We have Barbarkle! Oh my gosh, in my playthrough, Barbarkle just like punched me 17 times in the face. I was not ready when I had to take down this rogue Mega Evolution. and I was just like having a great time. I was just living. I was just living with my Meganium, and then I was not prepared for how fast Barbarkle was gonna be, and when Barbarkle rushed me, it was just like ba-da-da-da in my face. KO'd. Me, not my Pokemon, just to be clear. KO'd me, the trainer. Okay, but here we go with Barbarkle. Look, Mega Barbarkle, we do gain fighting type, so rock fighting, awkward defensive typing, to say the least. You're weak to water, you're weak to grass, you're weak to fighting, you're weak to ground, you're weak to psychic, you're weak to steel, and you're weak to fairy. Lots of weaknesses. But you have Shell Smash. I do kind of think Shell Smash is, like, kind of fun. I think Shell Smash is kind of fun. It gives you, like, fast Rock Slide, and you already have a pretty monster attack stat in the 140, and you have, like, a decent speed, so when you use Shell Smash, you will be able to outspeed, presumably, a lot of things. But yeah, like, fast Rock Slide, you could also go Iron Defense. There's also, like, the bulk up route. You know, you have some good coverage moves as well. For your stab water move, you have water. You could choose between Waterfall and Liquidation. Liquidation, obviously, the higher base power, but Waterfall has a chance to flinch. Liquidation has a chance to lower your defense, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I think having Shell Smash does make this Pokemon interesting. I think its defensive typing lets it down a little bit, to be fair. Decent, but like, honestly, even decent Spadef. But here's the thing, like I was talking about with other Pokemon, right? Your Mega takes up the item spot. So it's not like you can run White Herb, right? It's like, when you can't. So when you click your big Shell Smash move, like, you can't fix your defenses. You're just like, okay, don't Grassy Glide me. If you Grassy Glide, that's cheating. But no, like, you could have your own terrain and everything like that, but I think, like, being weak to Glide is, like, a little bit tough. Am I being too harsh? Is this, like, actually a B tier? It does not feel like a B tier. It feels like a C tier, I'll be honest. Okay, Dragalge like Algae. I'm gonna tell you something else. I think I am a Dragalge like Algae believer. You know, Poison Dragon, kinda cool defensive typing, to be honest. I always think this Pokemon, I always think this Pokemon is Dragon Water. I cannot get it through my freaking dome that this Pokemon is Poison type and not Water type. That's on me. But I do think it's a pretty cool defensive typing. Not as good as Water Dragon, like I was talking about with Feraligatr, such a good defensive typing. But ultimately, it's not terrible. Very slow. Very, very slow, so it could actually be a genuine Trick Room sweeper. Very exciting for me personally. Adaptability, again, if it keeps adaptability, you're going to be doing damage. You have a huge, okay, maybe not huge, but you have a very decent 1-3-2 special attack stat. Like, you're going to be hitting those Draco, like, adaptability boosted Dracos, boom! Adaptability boosted, you know, you could run Sludge Wave and have a Steel type or a Terra Steel type as your, partner Pokemon. You could run Sludge Bomb, you could get some cheeky little poisons in there. Like, I really do think this Pokemon can do something. I am a 100%, I am a Dragalge like Algae believer, to be completely honest with you. I'm putting Dragalge like Algae in B tier. I'm doing it. Okay, up next we do have Hawlucha. Up next. And okay, so Hawlucha's one of those mons. Hawlucha, very decent attack at 137, really decent defense, not really, but decent defense at 100, decent Spadef at 93, a really fair speed stat, let down a little bit by the HP. But, okay, here's the thing. I really hope Hawlucha gets scrappy. I think being able to, one, hit ghost types with your stab fighting moves, huge. Two, not being able to be intimidated, massive. Absolutely massive. I am also kind of a Hawlucha believer, to be fair. Like, Hawlucha gets some cool coverage moves in Stone Edge and Poison Jab and X-Scissor. You know, yeah, I think I believe in Hawlucha. Oh my gosh, I've been recording for an hour. Chat. Okay. I'm gonna Hawlucha in B. I do think I have some of these wrong. The B tier's looking incorrect. I wish there was, like... I just think these Pokemon are better than these B tier mons, but I think some of these I wish there was, like, an A- tier. Like, I wish I could just cheat and make an A- tier, because I think that these two are better than C tier. I really do think these two are better than C tier. But, like, not as good as a lot of these Pokemon. It's just, like, these two I'm struggling with. These two I am personally struggling with where to put them. But let's do the last two. Let's do the last two, and then we can reevaluate everything. But we're not gonna take too long, I promise. Drampa, like Grandpa. I'm so happy for Drampa to get a Mega Evolution. I love this design. I think this design is maybe one of my favorites. Normal Dragon, it's, like, not a great defensive typing, but it could be worse. It definitely could be worse. Like, you have really good resistances, and you resist fire, you resist water, you resist electric, you resist grass. Those are great resistances. Again, very slow. This Pokemon could absolutely be... I'm also a Drampa believer. This Pokemon, I think, could be a very real Trick Room sweeper. Huge 160 special attack stat. Huge. And you can get to Screamin', right? You can get, like, you have Hyper Voice. So Stab... You have Stab Hyper Voice, right? Like, I just think that's really, really good. You have Stab Hyper Voice, then you have Stab Dragon move. So you have the Hyper Voice. That way you don't have... You're in Trick Room. Having massive spread damage is a huge deal. But then if they have Wide Guard, you also have your Dragon move to get around that as well. Like, what if they gave this what if they gave Drampa Mind's Eye? That'd be kind of wild, right? And then you could hit Ghost types. Like, that would be very, very cool, I think. And I do want to shout out, it's like, Drampa does have Sap Sipper, because you will be undersped by Amoonguss in Trick Room, but the thing is, you can still swap in your Drampa on the Spore, eat the Spore, and then your opponent has to make a read. Are you gonna Terra, are you not gonna Terra, kind of thing. So I do think, like, Sap Sipper, I think Drampa is particularly useful because Sap Sipper's really useful in Trick Room, because a lot of players bring Amoonguss as kind of their Trick Room, one of their Trick Room answers or their Trick Room counter, right? So having one of your Mons, having one of your Trick Room sweepers not be able to be spored, I think is a huge, huge deal. Then you don't have to worry about setting your terrain, you don't have to worry about taunt, or you don't have to worry about redirection, anything like that, because, like, you obviously can't run Goggles and Mega Drampa, just like we've been talking about. The Mega Stone does take that item slot. But so, I think, like, I do think that makes Drampa even more useful. I'm gonna warn you, I'm a Drampa believer. I'm gonna warn you, I'm a Drampa believer. Like, I think especially if Drampa gets a... Like, what if I did that? Nah. Y'all are gonna be like, nah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm a Drampa believer. I think, like, especially with, like, Mind's Eye or something cool. That would be... Oh, that would be awesome. Okay. Last but not least, we do have Phalanx. Okay, look. This is another goofy. This Mega goofy, but I like him. I do like him. I will say, I've said this before, the aspect of this Mega that pushes it from a good design to me to a great design is this little guy. He is working so hard. He's the glue. He's the glue. His little eyes, he's like, ah. I adore. Absolutely adore. Okay. So, let's start. Phalanx has Defiant, right? Good ability. A physical attacker that can't be slowed down by Intimidate. Not only can you not be slowed down, you actually get boosted by Intimidate. That's good. That's good. So I'm curious what, like, am I, for every physical attacker, I'm just like, is it gonna get scrappy? Especially if you're a fighting type. Again, very, very similar to Hawlucha. Like, I think that if Phalanx got scrappy, that would be a really huge deal. Like, you are a mono fighting type, you are relying on your fighting type damage, so being able to hit your immunity with your stab damage is a huge deal. I think without it, it could be tough. Without it, it could definitely be tough. Like, lackluster HP, huge attack, huge defense, lackluster SPDEF, and like base 100. That is a reasonable speed stat. That is a very, very reasonable speed stat there. Yeah, mono fighting is a little bit of a letdown. I'm not sure what I would want its second ability to be mono fighting is a little bit of a letdown for the typing. I'm not sure what I would want its secondary typing to be. Yeah, honestly, well, I'll put you in C tier. Okay, let me look at this real quick. I think overall, I'm fairly happy with my decisions. I do think these two Pokemon in B tier is, like, too high. I do think it's too high, but I think C is too low. I'm at a little bit of an impasse with that. I think, like, maybe Mega Clefable's too high, but I like Mega Clefable, honestly. I don't think anything else belongs in D tier, to be honest. I do think this D tier is correct. I think, like, maybe Mega Skarmory should be in D tier, to be honest with you, but Mega Skarmory does feel better than these. I'm gonna put Mega Skarmory in, like, high D tier. Yeah, I'm gonna put Mega Skarmory in high D tier. To me, like, maybe an ability could... And, like, look, I'm doing this without abilities. I'm going off of, kind of, like, move pool and stats and typing. So, like, all those things play a very, very big role, in these decisions. And, like, arguably Drampa's too high, but I do not care. I do not care. I am really excited for this Pokemon. I think Drampa's gonna be such a fun Mega to play with, so I think this is my list. I honestly think this is my list. Save the receipts. Can't wait to see how either correct or incorrect I was. I did not keep this video in 45 minutes. Maybe after I edit it. Maybe I can do some really choice editing and I can make this video 45 minutes. But I do want to say, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy this content at any time, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to reach 5K by the end of the year. I'm not sure if that is a possibility for me, but that is certainly not going to mean I don't try. And I hope everybody has a great day. I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye!